Hi there, Pisces. It's time to have a look and see what is going on when it comes to the 2 weeks commencing the 13th of January 2021. And just a quick reminder for all of y'all out there, if you're watching your rising sign horoscope, well, yes, your rising sign horoscope is going to give you additional clarity as to how a great deal of your sun sign horoscope is showing up. And your moon sign horoscope, well, that's going to be giving you the story that is running parallel to your sun sign horoscope. And so, yes, we are doing bi-weeklies, and there is also going to be an inclusion of some astrology as we are now focusing on the lunations. So every bi-weekly reading is going to sync up with either a new moon or a full moon. And this one's going to be focusing on the new moon in Capricorn, which occurs January 13th, at least as far as here as West Coast, North America. I also want to mention that I am also doing live astrology chats on Fridays at 4 p.m. Pacific time, US and Canada, on my Patreon channel, where I will be talking about the astrology for the signs, not just in the general collective New Light astrology way, but for the signs as well. It will go long form, and of course it will be interactive with Q&As and all kinds of fun stuff like that. If you're interested in checking it out, it's a $5 minimum pledge per month to have access to my live content, including my Tuesday incoming wave live chats, where I also talk about the New Light astrology there, and discounts and all kinds of fun stuff I got going on, and even replays for those of you who want to review, or if you don't make it to the live, you have access to the replays. And of course, you can always find out more about that by following the links down below. And if you ever want to get a session with me, you can always go on ahead to my website, integrativemysticism.com. So, what is going on with this new moon in Capricorn? Well, this is occurring in your 11th house of friendships, social networking, your crew, as well as your house of your loftiest ambitions and most insane dreams and imaginings, your biggest creative goals and aspirations. And it is also an area that helps to get further context into how you can serve the collective, how you can serve the betterment of all, on this planet. And this new moon is actually opening up a window for you to actually make a beeline in the direction of a very personal aspiration, very personal goal that is actually going to come through a friend or an ally. Now, this could actually come through somebody that you know, or you may actually be meeting somebody that is going to maybe join that entourage and help really make things happen. This new moon is also going to be conjunct Pluto, the great transmuter, in this area as well. And so there's going to be a purging of a lot of maybe obstacles or a lot of conditions that you thought you would need to meet in order to be able to achieve this goal. And with this new moon in Pluto, there's also going to be a clearing or an overriding or an overwriting of maybe a certain assumption of maybe where or how something like that would come to be. This new moon and Pluto are also bringing you a lot closer to your friends and your allies that you feel are actually on the same journey as you as well, because Pluto tends to be let's say, a very picky kind of planet. And so what can happen is that we also see you now getting situations coming your way where you are getting very specific help for very specific quests, goals, jobs, and pursuits, and all kinds of cool stuff like that. And this actually shows a lot in your cards. Now, these cards themselves, I do want to mention, you may go through this experience in less than 14 days. We're going so quantum. Some of you may go through this whole horoscope in 9, 10, 11 days. And the way the themes evolve, you may actually find that it's not as cut and dry as this is week 1, this is week 2. It may be that The first card goes for the first 4 days of week 1, and then the rest happens, with the second card, or they blend and there's sort of a gradient transition or a chain reaction, one right after another, or a simultaneous kind of feel. So it really depends on what's going on within your own life stream. So what's going on when it comes to your cards? Well, for your spiritual themes, the bigger picture, your personal shifts, and your personal responsibility cards, merge them all together. We start off this 2-week period with the Three of Wands upright. And again, we have massive breakthroughs coming your way, as it does look like you are now starting to see where your objectives are actually landing. It's kind of like target acquired, land ho. Ships are coming in when it comes to a lot of pursuits, especially where you've been maybe searching, feeling like maybe you don't necessarily know where to orient, where to go next when it comes to maybe your career, your family, your love life, your academic life, your spiritual path and practice, any kind of travel or journey work you're doing. The Three of Wands is now actually marking a spot on the proverbial map. And what I'm also seeing here is that you're not only getting this clue, or you're getting this sign and symbol, but the resources, the direction, the how-tos, and the assistance is also coming through at the same time. And so we're finally actually seeing what the road looks like, versus maybe just understanding what the end game looked like. Or if you didn't know what that looked like, you're getting a picture of that as well. Now, this evolves into the Hanged Man reversed. And so there's a bit of a jailbreak kind of feel with this card, because with the Hangman reverse, we are just dropping stuff. We are letting go of a lot of let's just say commitments, a lot of realities, a lot of obligations, a lot of things that we've maybe been holding up, a lot of plates we've been spinning for maybe whatever reason. Maybe we just got used to spinning them. We forgot they were there. Maybe we were doing it because it seemed like the right thing to do, the responsible thing to do, the proper thing to do. The Hangman reverse is cutting a lot of ties that bind, cutting a lot of cords, or maybe even burdens that you had taken on yourself. And I do want to mention that that is actually a part of this card as well. You are having an opportunity to actually take back a lot of things that you have maybe done, promised, committed to, things that you initiated, things that you have to own responsibility for starting or co-creating. And it's not about judgment, but it's about an opportunity for a positive and a very easy, graceful reversal of a lot of things that maybe you put out there that you yourself might deem as mistakes or miscreations. It doesn't matter. You get a chance to undo. Now, going into your material shifts when it comes to your work, your finances, your professional aspirations, your job, your career, we start off this 2-week period with the Eight of Wands in reverse, and we're getting a bit of an Icarus kind of warning. Not the flying squirrel, Kazama Pajama, but the again, getting a little bit too close to the sun to be safe. And one of the things I would say with the Eight of Wands in reverse is that a lot of you Pisces people may be finding that a lot of propositions, a lot of offers that are coming your way during the first portion of this 2 weeks may actually be very, very time demanding. And if you are looking for a new job, you're taking on a new project, you're taking on a whole bunch of cool new pursuits, be careful, because it can be very easy for these things to get carried away. And then whether they become either too costly, or they actually just consume a lot of your time, or maybe, worst case scenario, they don't actually turn out to be worth the amount of time, effort, and energy you're putting into it, as in it's costing you more to be there than you're ever profiting from it. You need to know when to pull back, or maybe even renegotiate and reassert some boundaries here. And you may be even finding some issues when it comes to even clients and customers maybe trying to milk you, take you for a ride. We've all had those situations before where, and it might actually even feel sometimes like you're getting taken advantage of. Just allow yourself to, of course, stand back and go, look, this is not appropriate. Again, even when offers are coming through, proposals for new jobs, applications, you may be being like, this is not what I applied for. I said this many hours, you're giving me this many hours. I mentioned my availability was here, but you put me way over here. There's some corrective work that can be done. Just make sure you're not accepting everything blindly. As we evolve that theme into the Ten of Pentacles upright, there actually is a feeling of striking gold. Even if you just said screw it to everything with that Eight of Wands reverse and waited for the second half of this read, you will actually be finding that a lot of you are going to be stepping into a space where the Goldilocks and the Three Bears moment finally actually works for you. And whether you are hunting for the ideal work project or the ideal job, the ideal working environment, maybe even the ideal living environment, we find one that actually starts to not only show its value, show its potential, but show how it's actually going to gain and afford you more and more profit to be able to work with in the short and long term. And of course, how you define profit is probably very personal, but I am actually including, yes, the topic of coin. And this, yes, I don't want to say that none of the opportunities of the Eight of Wands reversed are viable or workable, but, keep at least a little bit of yourself available for what may actually come as the best and better in the second half of this 2-week period. As we get on to your relationships with your love life, your romantic life, as well as your closest one-on-one connections, so this could be friends and family, we have the Seven of Wands reversed to start. And what looks like, feels almost as though, I want to talk about those of you who are single, or available, what's going on with y'all. The Seven of Wands reverse is indicating there may be something going on with either a new person or somebody we've maybe been seeing in the short term, and I'm getting short term, where there's a problem with proportion. I feel as though maybe somebody is coming in where they're getting very intense with their desire to be maybe in a committed relationship, that the stakes are almost way too high to be reasonable or to be stable. And it's not necessarily saying that this is a bad person, but I would definitely make sure I would know how to tone things down a little bit with some empathy and with some patience, of course, and maybe figure out what might actually be driving this impulse, because the Seven of Wands reverse can definitely indicate that high level of pressure and mixed with a bit of anxiety that they might even want to know that if that were to keep up, it would just pull the situation apart. Some of you may decide that that's just a deal breaker right then and there, and that's totally fine for you, but I figured I would mention that. For those of you who are currently coupled, the Seven of Wands reverse is indicating, I'm actually getting a little bit of a different vibe here. I'm actually feeling as though there's going to be a need to address where we are maybe getting taken advantage of by somebody that we are not necessarily doing an adequate job asserting boundaries with. Now, with the Seven of Wands reverse, this could be a friend or a family member, but somebody who very much does seem to raise the stakes around us and our relationship, whether it is raising the stakes in terms of creating unpleasantness in the home, maybe even creating a bit of compromises, or maybe proving to be a bit of a liability in some way. We've really got to make sure that we know how to put a lid on this situation. There may be, however, some conflict with this, especially if you find out it might be a family member or a friend. You need to learn how to maybe be real with, or maybe it's a partner who may be letting this kind of situation happen, knowing full well what this person is capable of and what they do every time. This is a time where we can make that stop. Again, new year, new rules. This, however, does, this ease up as we get to the second half of this read. Things are very, very different. With the Three of Wands upright, we actually have harmony coming back to your love life, especially when it comes to how we are dealing with other people and how they interact with us as a couple. For those of you who are single, the second half of this definitely feels a lot more fun, a lot more fancy-free. If you are, still working with the person we talked about before, things seem to be lightening up quite a bit. And now all of a sudden everyone is relaxed, feeling comfortable, feeling loose, and allowing themselves to actually enjoy this, very fun stage of getting to know each other. Some of you may also be finding, however, that you are also attracting other potential partners into your life, and maybe even people through some friends that you already know. For those of you who are currently coupled, I do feel as though, yes, when it comes to bringing some peace to the community that your relationship is a part of, or, again, sharing space, time, and energy with, it is actually going to be going over quite well. Now, how it goes over well may actually depend Pisces to Pisces. It may be going well because we finally gave somebody the boot and the heave-ho and, told them to get a life. Or they are correcting their behavior and we are in a really good way as far as now having that respect there. Or we are also bringing in more people into our lives that just kind of changes, I guess you could say, the value of our, of the environment that we are in socially, to the point where it really does raise the bar, raise the vibrational and social standard to one that is absolutely perfect for you and the friends and the colleagues and the family members and all the people that you want to share this with. And it also helps raise, again, the quality of life for your partner as well. And so all in all, a gorgeous end to a really interesting 2-week period for you. So that's what I've got for you, Pisces. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session with me, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.